Well, hello. Welcome back to Orchid Bloom's podcast. Welcome back, bloomers. I am your host, Orchid Brown, with the Orchid Bloom's podcast. You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, and X at Orchid Brown. This week's second podcast episode will be on the spirit of envy and jealousy, part 2. This episode, I'm going to focus on what I'm dealing with currently. Last podcast episode, I had shared my experiences with my cousin's situation, but now it's a new year and I'm dealing with new demons. So I am currently dealing with a boss at work who is married. He is a married man in a position of power as an acting manager. He is desperately trying to exercise his dominance and control over me, which is impossible because he holds no value in my life. I don't see him as a friend or a family, but in his mind, he feels he's important to me. No idea why. Someone needs to tell me. We used to talk in the beginning, but once I saw the jealousy and his need to compete with me, I decided to do what I would do with any coworker or person outside of the workplace who displayed any jealousy or need to compete with me. I would distance myself to the point of zero communication at all. And because it's a workplace, I kind of have no choice but I make it strictly about the work, and I'm very pointed and very straightforward. There is no conversation. I don't care how you are. I don't care what's going on in your life. I don't give a fuck. You can talk, I'll walk off. I just strictly focus on the job itself. First, I withdrew my energy because that's very important. And a lot of people who are trying to put up boundaries with people who have shown that they could be dangerous, you have to withdraw your energy. You have to create a block. So I created a block with distance, and then I withdrew my energy. Energy could be your emotions, your investment in the outcome of a situation. You need to pull all of that back. You need to become indifferent, basically, which I knew would trigger them. And then when I say them, I mean anyone that I've done this with has always been triggered when I do that, because it just happens abruptly and you don't see it coming. But once I see it, I just immediately jump into that withdrawal mode. I'm pulling everything back. There are consequences for overstepping a boundary with me. Now I will not give you a second chance. I will not. I decided that I needed to be at a safe distance away from these people because it does not connect to my values or my morals. It doesn't even connect to my character. I just don't associate with low vibrational people. My protection and my safety will always come first. I am the main character. Then I'll deal with the retaliation as it comes, but understand with everything that you're doing, there's always consequences. And what you lose may be worth a lot more than what you're doing. A lot of people in this type of situation that are doing these evil things to other people, they don't take that into consideration. What will you lose because of what you're doing? You don't know the enemy that you're coming up against. I understand when you look at me, I look very innocent. I look very naive. I look like prey, but I'm actually a predator. So if you lose, you're going to lose a lot more than you think you're going to lose. You think that this is going to be swept under the rug. It will not. And a lot of people who decide to try me eventually learn that lesson, and they're very careful going forward. But unfortunately, I'm no longer there. I just disappear. You have to understand, through this experience, God was so good to me. When I first started this job, God prepared me for this challenge. And how he did that was by connecting me with a girl in the office that the acting manager used to fuck. I didn't understand why she would overshare with me, with someone she didn't really know. But I guess we, had a connection talking about church and like her family members. Some of them I've actually met, and like what I thought about them and how great they are. And so she felt that, okay, she seems like a solid girl. Like if she asks certain questions, I will explain stuff to her. So she started sharing. The things she shared had me scared for her. All I was thinking was she needed to run, not walk, run, because this man is dangerous. They broke up months before I started the job, and now he's married to someone else very quickly. You know what that is. I laughed my ass off, but I didn't actually tell her what I thought about it. That told me that he only did it, married the other girl to punish her for leaving him because he was controlling. But you see, what he didn't realize is that he has a one-track mind. He's so focused solely on retaliating against somebody that he doesn't understand that his actions will lead to his downfall. You married this girl. There was two good reasons for him to marry this girl. One, her father was dying, and apparently it was the father's dream to walk her down the aisle. I don't actually believe that, but we're going to go along with it for the explanation of the story, because that's a story that they're putting out there. And he was like, yeah, I'll be your hero, because he has a savior complex. And so, they got married. The dad walked her down the aisle before he passed, like months later. And he was her hero. And then he got to hurt the other girl by quickly getting married as quickly as he did. Two birds, one stone. So he was looking at this like he was empowered, like, look at me being the best kind of thing. But what I didn't understand is after he got married, he still attached himself to the girl he used to fuck. And after they got married, not once did he ever bring up his wife. It was almost like she did not exist. He got what he wanted from her. And it was like, once he leaves work and he goes home, his wife exists. But once he comes into the office, she's non-existent. He has a ring on his finger, but it's like, if you ask him about his wife, he goes blank. It's the weirdest thing. Just the weirdest thing. I've never seen this before. There are other married men in the office. They talk about their kids. They talk about their spouse. But him, he has nothing to say. I think I had to, one time, he showed me pictures of their vacation together. And I was like, oh, wow, your wife is really beautiful. He completely ignored what I said and just kept talking. So I had to wait till he finished the story to then ask him, or not to ask him, but to say, your wife is beautiful. And he goes, oh yeah, thanks. Like, that was his response. I had asked her why she decided to get with this little boy, because he's younger than her, and she's a little bit older. So I was kind of like, why, like, what drew you to this pitiful little boy? Because that's what I see when I see him. Yes, he's taller than me because I'm a short girl. And he does act like a child that constantly needs help from people, but I think it's like a part of his gimmick. But regardless if he didn't or not, all I see is a child. So she kind of explained to me that, they got a little bit closer, they got together, and, it just felt right. And I said, okay, sure. So I said, if it was so great, like, why did it end? If it was so great. She's like, well, it didn't like, they got into fucking, because she wouldn't say that they were actually in a relationship, because I guess they hadn't confirmed it. They were just fucking. And along the way, he started getting very agitated and irritated by her, because how dare she go out and hang out with her friends? Again, for her to not invite him around her friends and family, it would be because she's not really sure where they stand, because they have not confirmed if they're in a relationship or not, or they're just fucking. So he started becoming a little bit controlling and was like, you're not allowed to go see your parents or your friends or hang out with your friends without me there. And she was kind of freaked out. And I said, girl, run. That is a red flag. Run. When a dude who's not even trying to claim you is trying to dictate how you live your life outside of the workplace, because you're fucking in the workplace at this point. You guys haven't really confirmed if you're in a relationship or not. And he's now trying to, like, say you can't hang out with your friends without him because he needs to be a part of the fun. He wants to be in your life. It kind of gave me the vibe that he wanted what she had. And that was what I was getting from him. Like, he got promoted, he started doing this job, but she was the one getting a lot of attention for how amazing she was doing her job. So he wanted to be that person. And so it kind of made me start thinking like, oh, okay, this is definitely a person that would come out and be jealous of other people because they have something that he doesn't. And I was like, why? I even had to ask her because it was a thought in my head, like, does he have any friends? Why would he need to go everywhere you go every single day? She's like, I don't know why he would need to do that. But I mean, he has roommates and he says they're his friends. So I said, outside of the friendship with the roommates, does he have any friends? Like, where's his family? You know? And I felt bad asking that question, but when I hear of a controlling man who won't let a girl go out and live her life without him, I feel and I think he doesn't have anything. And she's like, well, I'm like, have you even met any of friends outside of his roommates? She's like, no. I'm like, have you even met his family? She's like, not really. And I said, but he's making it mandatory for you to bring him around everyone you meet so that he can make them his friends. And she just kind of looked at me because it never dawned on her what I was saying. She just kind of found it odd and it freaked her out that he wanted complete control over her, like possession. Like he treated her like she was a possession, but he wouldn't claim her. He wouldn't say, you're my girlfriend. But no, you have to be mine. And everything that you have has to be mine. Girl, run. Don't walk. Run. She realized after how many fights with him over the topic of her going and hanging out with her friends that she needed to get away from him. And I was like, okay, like, I'm glad you made that decision, but you also work together. After he got his pound of flesh, with the marriage with some girl, he forced his way back into her life because, again, they're sitting across from each other. So she was trying to keep the boundaries and keep the distance, but she's not very good at it because that's not how she was raised. How she was raised is to be giving because her parents wanted her to kind of be a nursemaid to her disabled younger sister. They never wanted her to get married or really have any life outside of her sister. They wanted her to kind of focus her entire being on taking care of her sister after they pass. So, which is completely inconsiderate as far as I'm concerned. And now she's trying to live her life. So she's a bloomer, just like the rest of us. She's learning how to grow and figure herself out, but she still was working through how to create boundaries. And so she was doing that, but because they sit across from each other, he would force his way into her atmosphere and her energy without her consent and ignore her discomfort by his action because now he's married. But he just didn't seem to care. It was almost like she's just the wife. Like that's the behavior that he has towards his wife. The more she talked, the more I realized that he never really cared about her. He just wanted control over her and her life because he was jealous of her. He wanted to get so close that he got right up inside of her, between those legs, because he just wanted whatever she had. And she was one of those people that had this light about her. Like when you meet her, she's like sunshine. And it runs in her family because a cousin of hers is the same way. And it's just beautiful to see. So when she said she was, this was her cousin, I was like, girl, really? Oh my God, you both have like the same light. You know what I mean? And we just bonded over that, just laughing and talking. Her sharing her childhood memories with her cousins because, they're native. And she's like a part of the family, but she doesn't look native. After she finished telling me this story, I just thought, this dude is scary and dangerous. But when you see him, he behaves meek, like he's so pitiful. And he just help me kind of guy. And so he fools everyone around him. But based on this girl's experience, I believe her because I don't trust a person that has that kind of mask. How are you a grown ass man and you are acting like you're pitiful and need a mommy? Can I have a titty? You know what I mean? I just don't trust that shit. So while married, he's glued himself to her. And I just kept thinking, if he had no wife, he would most likely push her or peer pressure her into going back into a sexual relationship with him so he can feel connected to her. And that's kind of the vibe that I felt from him. And because of things that I've learned from other coworkers who just talk too much, I realized that he kind of learned this from his father, because his father's a serial cheater and he cheated on his wife, which is his mom. And so he grew up admiring his father. So he wants the kind of lifestyle that his father had. And that made me think, okay, you really need to find a way to get away from him, because the reason why he's not bringing up his wife is because he would cheat. And he's looking to keep fucking you while he's fucking his wife at home, if she's fucking him at this point. His idea in his mind about the friendship that he had with her was very important to him. Even though it was non-existent, even though he was forcing himself onto her and making her be his friend, in his delusional mind, this was a friendship. And that's what told me that he had no friends. Someone in the office even started being suspicious of their closeness. And because she's a male-centered female, she blamed her because she's older. You are the predator. You went after this meek-looking, pathetic man who's now married, and look at him running after you like a dog, not realizing that she's running away from him and he's following. And she's trying not to bring attention to how uncomfortable the situation is, and it's considered sexual harassment. But no one was seeing that. They were just seeing that she was the one chasing him, even though that wasn't the case. And he never once tried to clarify that, oh, we're just friends, like, you know, we're just hanging out, like, no big deal. So this woman, who is a male-centered woman who believes all men are victims, poor them, oh my God, he hit you, you did something. Like, she's that girl. You know what I mean? So she hated her because she felt in her mind, this imaginary assumption she came up in her mind, that she was abusing him and manipulating him and making him chase after her and behave the way that he does. And I thought, God, I can't stand you. You're going to be a problem. While this is happening, she's also being tormented by upper management, the director, but never clued in that he was a part of it. And even though, you know, she's expressing everything that she's going through, I would, out of the side of my eye, kind of look at him and make it seem like I'm looking at her, but I'm looking at him. And you should see the glee and happiness at her suffering and, you know, what she was experiencing, which was abuse. The director loved to abuse her. And he just kind of sat there just soaking it in, like drinking and sucking off of her pain. And I saw that. And he was a key player in her abuse because he wanted front row seat to seeing her downfall. That's what happens when someone's jealous of you. That's what happens when someone is in competition with you. They create scenarios and situations, start ratting you out on things that aren't really true. And she didn't know it was him, but I did. I didn't have the heart to tell her because I had no proof that it was him. But when someone is that happy to see you suffer and is enjoying it and wants to come over and hug you and like suck the energy from you because it feeds him and it's like the best meal he's ever had, seeing you cry, seeing you hurt, seeing you completely defeated, he just fed off of it. And I was like, yo, this man, something is wrong with him. But she never noticed. She never noticed, but I did. What you need to understand as well is that this happened in the first 4 months of me working at this job. Mind you, there was a red flag that I shouldn't have taken this job when the interviewer who interviewed me seemed like she was nice, but I had a vibe about her. And then when I contacted her months later going, hey, what's going on with the position? She snapped at me and started basically insulting me. And I was like, whoa, I didn't even get the job and you're already trying to abuse me? It was very weird. So I was kind of like, I shouldn't really take this job, but I got bills to pay, so I'm going to take it. So coming into the job, I'm seeing this girl suffering and watching her be abused by this disgusting male and upper management all at the same time because they're all getting off on it. They're all getting off of trying to destroy her light because they don't like her light. It makes them sick, but he's feeding off of her misery. And clearly the director is jealous of her too and is in competition. I'm telling you, I don't understand people in a high position competing with people below them. Like, what's wrong with you? Why can't you fuck up like normal people? You want to better yourself? Go after the person higher than you. Don't fuck down. She finally got a job behind his back. I was so happy for her. I was the only one that kind of knew about it in the office because I told her that I had a vision that of something and I shared it with her. But I also had to apologize because I happened to have mentioned it to the chatterbox in the office, and she was so pissed because she was like, listen, don't tell her anything. She's dangerous. And I was like, yeah, I kind of felt after sharing it that I shouldn't have shared that with her. So now I'm going to be very careful what I say in front of this girl. She's like, please don't. But I was like, listen, I think you got the job because I think that's what the vision was telling me. And she's like, I think so too. And she really hopes. And so when she finally got the job, she eventually told him about it maybe a few days later in hopes to just kind of get rid of him. And he was devastated because now his food source is gone. The energy that he's been sucking from her, watching her be abused, participating in it by providing information to get the director to abuse her some more, is now gone. He was devastated. And also based on the look in his eyes of longing, it tells me that he was hoping to stick around enough and get close enough to her so he can start fucking her behind his wife's back. So he was looking to cheat on his wife with her when she wanted nothing to do with him. And I was like, the delusion on this guy, thinking that you can convince someone who's already fucked you before, who wants nothing. She doesn't even want to see your penis again. She doesn't want to smell you. She doesn't even want you on top of her. He thought he could catch it again after everything he's done. 2 months later, I realized that he was still connecting with her and talking to her, and I knew that he forced her or begged her to come to our Christmas brunch, which in my mind, I was like, why would you come? Like, you got out of this place. You're even making more money at the other place than you're making here, because this workplace, they're broke. They can't afford to pay you what you're being paid right now. So why would you come here for lunch? And she was like, oh, I was just doing him a favor. Like, he kept begging and trying to like force me to come. So I was like, okay, I'll come. He said everybody wanted me to be here. I'm like, he didn't ask anybody if you wanted to be here. He wanted you there. He wanted to get close again. I was like, girl, you got out. God has been good to you. Stop looking back. She didn't really, she behaved as though she had a great time at the Christmas lunch, but I knew deep down she didn't. She was very uncomfortable. She was stuck there with her abuser, which was the director, and it was clear that the director didn't even want her there. She was kind of like, you know, that fake ass little giggle that people like to do with their fake smile. You can tell she was just annoyed that she was there, completely annoyed. And they never spoke to each other. Like, that's how bad it was. Everybody at the table was uncomfortable. They were happy to see her, but everyone was like, what the fuck are you doing here? After everything they've done to you, what the fuck are you doing here? And she's like, I'm here for him. I'm like, why the fuck are you here for him? He's a married man. He's a married man. Y'all are not friends. So I already knew that she doesn't reach out to him. He's the one that constantly keeps texting her, constantly keeps trying to hold on to her. And she's trying to live her own life. But again, he just keeps pushing. And let's put the elephant in the room here. He's married. Go chase your wife like that. So that's the backstory. He has now moved his obsession to me. He started an imaginary competition with me, one-sided, of course, because I don't compete with men. I actually don't even compete with other women. But men are not on my list of people to compete with. Like, you're a man, you're an acting manager. Why would I need to compete with you? I don't even want your job, you know? But he needed to focus his energy onto somebody else. Like I said in the beginning of this podcast episode, I just see him as a boy with a mental illness. This man even has people spying on me. He made friends in the office, not real friendship, but he got them convinced that they're real friends to spy on me. Watch my every move. He is so desperate for information about me. When I talk to somebody, he makes it a point to be their friend too. And I was like, oh my God, is this what she had to deal with? He asked them about what we talk about. He needs to be involved in all my conversation. He likes to come over and name drop to send the message that I can access you. I'm like, is that supposed to be a threat? And I just look at him like, you're weird. His obsession grew before I even realized it. Like, I saw the jealousy, but I didn't realize it was actually that far ahead into fixation. Because I distanced myself, he needed me to trust him again, telling me everything about his life, which I never asked. oversharing. He knew what to share and what not to share. So even though he felt I could trust him, I just never did, and he could feel it. Mind you, he betrayed me. He said I was going to get a promotion at a position within the company, even trained me for it, and then pulled it back because he wanted me devastated. He wanted to feed off. He needed another victim to suffer so he can feed off of it. But that's not what he got. All he got was me just shutting down completely and turning my back like he didn't fucking exist. What he wanted, he didn't get. You should have seen how the smile showed up on his face when the email was sent out by the director, because she's a part of the game too. The email was sent out by the director, and he's standing there talking to the new girl, smiling. The devious, evil smile on his face, because he was like, oh, I can't wait to get over there and like sniff her out. Instead, I just packed up my shit, this big smile on my face, and walked the fuck out and said bye. I went home, ate a nice meal, and had a drink. I'm good to go. You people are playing high school games, like middle school games. Like, come on, I've already been through this. And I went through a school that was vicious. So if I was to play back, I would destroy you. So, I always felt that something was wrong with him. But at least this time I saw his mask fall for the second time. And I was like, I knew something was wrong with you. I should have trusted my instincts the first time. But, I decided to play along, but not too close. I made sure the boundaries were up. Like, he couldn't get close to me, no matter how hard he tried. He even tried to move closer to where I was sitting, made sure he was across from me, made sure he could access me, tried to come into my space. And of course, I would get up from my chair, walk out of the space, and let him look. And he clearly feels a bit uncomfortable that I just left my own space because he was too close. But I know how to play the game too, bitch. I can make it seem like you are making me very uncomfortable, and I never invited you in my space. So he's clearly trying to use psychological manipulation, because he is a manipulator. And I've already called him out on it when we had a meeting, and he was just like, oh, I said, listen, before we continue with this meeting, I don't want to hear any of your manipulation. Don't say this, and that at all. You should have seen his face, because I basically took his weapons away from him. I already know his manipulation tactics. Like, please don't pull it. I'm really sick of hearing this. You're getting on my nerves, which I will dedicate to another podcast episode talking about psychological manipulation. The issue for this acting manager is that these games don't work on me. And one of the biggest mistake he made was not knowing his enemy. If you're going to make someone your enemy, always make sure you know them inside and out. You know their weaknesses and you know their strengths. You're attacking me based on what worked on her, the previous girl. You keep confusing us like we're the same. We're not. What she's insecure about is not something that I'm insecure about. So know your enemies. Instead, you were looking for another version of her in me, and she's not here. She's not here, you obsessive piece of shit. She's not here. But I started realizing that he's just not a smart man. He's playing checkers, not realizing that I play chess. So while he's running around wasting all of his energy trying to figure out how to get at me in some way, I'm just peacefully sitting there just doing my job, watching him go running around, running back to the director, telling the director everything. The director's giving him advice. And I was like, girl, you're a director and you're giving him childhood tricks. Like, how did you get to the level that you got to? Which I ended up finding out. And let me tell you, it's some dirty business, some dirty ass business. She did not deserve the job, but she got it by doing something real foul. I, on the other hand, knows what influences him as well as the director, what their weaknesses are as well as their strengths. Because while they were both running around trying to figure out how to get one up on me, they taught me everything I needed to know about them. They taught me their moves. I can predict where they're going, what they're about to do. They handed it to me. I've never seen people literally go, here's a playbook of who I am, and hand it to me. They even started putting bullets in a gun and then handing me the gun. And I was like, you do realize, and in my mind I'm thinking this, you do realize handing me this gun, if I was to pull the trigger, I wouldn't miss. I have never experienced in my entire, you know what? I take that back. That's a lie. I have experienced people who have wanted power over me, but ended up giving me power over them. Because while I'm sitting down, letting you come to me, letting you attack me, I'm receiving it, I'm watching, I'm paying attention, I'm calm. I'm not saying a word, I'm pissed, but I'm calm and I'm calculated. And I'm just waiting for that perfect opportunity to get your ass. They don't realize that in that moment, I've gathered enough information and they know it. So they come and they just hand me power over them. And then they just start chasing their tails like they're insane. And I just get to watch them work so hard to try to get me. And I could just just swat whatever they're sending me away like a fly, because they gave me power over them. They told me I live rent-free in their mind, that they have a one-sided competition with me. I have the power. I don't play checkers, I play chess. They still haven't figured that out. Now let me clarify, a little bit of friendly competition can be healthy for any relationship. However, there are some individuals who engage in long-standing rivalry with people they call their friends. These competitions are often one-sided, secretive, and fueled by both jealousy and insecurity. And that's literally what he's showing me. So here are some ways to protect yourself from jealousy. Practice self-compassion. So treat yourself with the same kindness you would show a close friend. Practice gratitude. Focus on the positives by being grateful for what you have. Do things you enjoy. Nurture your spirit and do things that make you happy. Practice mindfulness. You know what that is. Talk about your feelings. And the next one, build trust. So build trust with people you care about. And don't forget to boost your confidence. Working on building your confidence is very important. And while I was going through all this attack with this supposed competitor, who's not a competitor, he built up my confidence so much. My self-esteem shot through the roof. When the attacks work in your favor, right? Jesus. I feel there are things victims can use to help themselves when they are under attack by people with jealous spirits. It will irritate their demons, but who cares? And as I've already shared with the story earlier in this podcast episode, I definitely know how to do that. And I've shared it with you. So if you try it, just understand they're going to come at you a little bit worse than they did before, but you better have thick skin and you're ready for it. Jealousy, as I said in the previous podcast episode, is a combination of fear, anger, insecurity, and greed. It can lead to feeling resentment, hostility, irritable, which again, you kind of heard that in a story, even though the story is not finished. Envy is a similar feeling, but it's more about resenting other people's success and blessing. So it's very important that you protect yourself from jealous people. And that is the reason why I provided the previous list. And I ended it with boosting your confidence, because confidence is everything when you are dealing with jealous and competitive people, especially envious people. You need to be able to see the red flags and just stop it. Neutralize that negative energy as quickly as you can. Back up and run. Jealousy was helpful to me. All these jealous people, it was very helpful to me. Their competitive nature, very helpful to me. It strengthened my discernment and helped me to trust in my intuition. The thing about dealing with people with jealous spirits is that they make you distrustful towards others and yourself. So while under these attacks, I noticed that I stopped trusting myself. That list helped me to reverse that. So I have to thank these people. I really do. I needed to trust myself again. It helped me to believe in myself. I am powerful. I am enough. Here are some ways to protect yourself from jealous people. I guess this is another list that I'm going to provide to you, and hopefully this one's hopefully a bit more detailed. So don't take it personal, which is something that I have learned. But they also said that, find the source. And for me, my situation, the source was he made promises to his director that he couldn't keep. Even though he was jealous of me and competing with me, I have a feeling, based on how toxic this environment is, that his promotion from acting manager to manager, like full-blown manager, is dependent on if he can sacrifice me to her. You understand what I'm saying? So she made it, and I've seen her do this before, where people in the organization has to betray or backstab somebody to move up. But he already betrayed and backstabbed me. So why is she's adding more conditions, like you need to take her out, you need to sacrifice her, and then I'll give you the position. And I feel that's the source of his motivation, his fixation on me, is that I'm in the way of him getting his promotion. For some apparent reason, this director is obsessed with me, this female director. I'm like, girl, I'm not lesbian. I'm not lesbian. You're a little bit psychotic for me right now. Go find another woman. Pussy's free. Go get it. It's just not mine. Mine's not free. And that's what I feel the source was for him. He will not be promoted or move up in this organization if he does not hand me on a platter to her. And that's really sad. So yeah, don't take it personal. I feel like I'm dealing with children. I'm not going to take it personal. They're kids. They're kids he's younger than me and she's older than me. And I just see them as children, so I don't take it personal. But I already know what the source is. And I've even spoken about this to my family members, and they're all kind of like, yeah, it sounds like he made promises that he could serve you on a platter to her. And he jeopardized his position by coming up against someone he thought he could win against. Taking things personal can make you vulnerable to being manipulated by others. And I am not interested in being manipulated by others. I have already nipped that shit in the bud. So the second on the list is communicate openly. So get others' opinion, which is what I did. I went and I spoke to my family members about it. My dad has, been by my side throughout this process. He knows the whole story. Like, I haven't shared everything with you. If you heard the shit that he did to me recently, oh boy, you'd be like, girl, you're too strong. Like, let's jump him together. Like that. It's that bad. And I communicated all of this, but I have to be diplomatic because guess what? This is a workplace. How I would handle it on the streets is a different story. So communicate openly, get another opinion. So if you are in a relationship or talking about your feelings of jealousy, can help your partner understand where you're coming from. So what I just shared would not apply to my situation because there is no communicating with a delusional person who has a mental illness. So the third on the list is be honest about your feelings. Consider the bigger picture. So if you are in a relationship or you are in a friendship that is meaningful to you, this would be something that you would do. Not in my situation. Identify your insecurities. That is very important because even on TikTok, we have, some people talking about how you would test your partner by telling them about your insecurities and seeing if they would use it against you later. And I think one female's story online was that she gave like a bullshit insecurity, and before the day ended, he started using it against her. And that's how she knew she needed to get rid of him. So identify your insecurities, know your weaknesses. So jealous people may put you down to bolster their own self-confidence. And that's technically what happened in that TikTok story from the girl that was sharing what her boyfriend had done to her. And in this case, my situation right now, I didn't tell him anything about my insecurities because I already know all of them and I've been working on them for years. These people don't know the amount of work that I have put in myself. I have put a lot of work. So I promise you, you will never find a way to have power over me. The next on the list is practice gratitude. This is something that family and friends are always reminding me of. And I know that when you're in a trying time, it's really hard to be thankful. But some days I'm thankful sometimes just about getting a drink. I'm thankful that, I got gas in my car. I'm always like, thank God. I get into an argument with this acting manager where he tries to set me up recently. And I whooped his ass in that meeting. I whooped his ass. And guess what? After the meeting was done, I was like, I'm grateful. Thank you, God. God, that was good. You got me, God. Jesus, so practice gratitude for what you have. And right now, I'm very thankful for the fact that I protect and defend myself. I am so thankful for that, because if I had let these people walk all over me, what confidence, what self-esteem? I just gave these people exactly what they want. No, I will never give someone power over me, because I'm the main character. And the next on the list is set boundaries. Set boundaries and call for a frank conversation. Some people are good at that, some people aren't. If necessary, you can involve a third party or an authority. I've made it clear to this manager, sorry, he's not managing, he's acting manager, that he is not allowed to contact me anymore through the work team's video to talk to me. That's the boundaries that I've put up, and I made sure of that. So now he has to send me everything in writing. You don't get to talk to me any sort of way and think you can get away with it. You have to be professional in writing. So I'm taking away that opportunity or anything for you to contact me or speak out of your ass. Like, it's just not going to happen. So that was me setting boundaries. And other than that, the other boundaries that I've set was prior to the boundary I set last week about no video calls between us. It was just strictly work, and he got the message, because I will not ask him how he's doing. If he's sick, I don't give a fuck. Like, that's how it is. If I'm sick, I just say I'm sick. I'm not coming in today. That's it. I don't care. Oh my God, I'm so sorry to hear that this is happening to you. I just ignore the message and move on. I've never given him the time of day to use his fake mask to try to convince me that he is something he's not. I already know who you are. I believe you, and now I'm treating you accordingly. The last thing on the list, which I don't know if I can do, is don't play the same game. Don't adapt the same behavior as the envious person. For example, don't create gossip and make passive-aggressive comments. You see, the passive-aggressive comments is what I live off of. So I failed that part. I did. I really need to learn how to just take it and wait for the opportunity where I get to put my foot up their ass. But the passive aggressive part is just a part of my personality. What do you mean? I can't do that. I wish y'all the best of luck with that part. So if you struggle with the passive aggressive comments, we're on the same team. We're on the same team. We're struggling over here. So don't allow jealous people to affect your confidence or to create self-doubt. Keep doing what you're doing and don't allow others to stop you. Focus on people that support you. Remind yourself that they're jealous because you are doing something well or right. And envious people are just haters. They're just haters. So I'm going to end this podcast episode. And hope you look forward to my next podcast episode on psychological manipulation going forward. I hope this was helpful on your journey, sharing mine. And I hope and pray you do not experience these types of things that I'm experiencing. And if you are, you have a community of people that are going through the exact same thing. And I shared this story because I wanted you to know that you are not alone. You will need to be mentally strong to survive. Just remember, these people don't like you. And once you get that through your head, they don't like you. They'll never like you. So don't even try to make them like you. Use your discernment and protect yourself. You don't need to fight all the battles, but you do need to fight back. Thank you for supporting the Orchid Blooms podcast episode. Please subscribe, follow, rate, or leave a review on the podcast or the episode. We also have social media pages, so subscribe and follow Orchid Bloom's YouTube channel, The Ambitious Obsession Network on Facebook, at The Ambitious Ops on Twitter, at The Ambitious Net on Instagram. Don't forget to share your favorite podcast episode with your family and your friends, and I hope you have a splendid day.